morning from the blue coast of eastern Sweden in the Baltic Sea. I'm in my little dinghy here. My yacht is anchored about 1.5 miles over there, surrounded by rocks, perfectly safe, well sheltered because we've got some nasty weather coming through. And I'm taking the opportunity to visit a remote island which I've heard about for many years and I've never had the opportunity to see. And it was the home of a fishing community many years ago, centuries ago. And they have a remarkable wooden chapel which has survived. And the purpose of my little voyage in my little punt here is to go and find that chapel and see what it's like inside and see if it raises any thoughts. So, here we go. Well, I'm out of my dinghy, scrambled out onto this lovely old dock, and I'm going to walk through here and into this amazingly unchanged fishing village really, and then walk across the island. I'll bet there's no track. I'm just going to have to find my way and see if I can find this chapel that I've been looking for. My goodness me! I've never seen anything like this in my life. Astonishing. The paintings on the ceiling and on the walls, they just look so ancient. And you think this chapel was built around the 17th century, middle of the 17th century, I understand. And these paintings certainly look that old. I bet they're original. They're wonderful, primitive likenesses of angels, all of whom are quite two-dimensional. And then on the walls, there are much more sophisticated paintings. Just looking, there's one there of Christ performing some miracle, I don't know which one. Oh no, it's John the Baptist baptizing Christ. That's what it is. And behind the altar, there's a primitive of the crucifixion, which is actually quite moving. People were fishing here 1,000 years ago, and people moved onto the island. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think it was round about the 16th century. And at its height, there were probably, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 families fishing from here. They used the chapel, so I'm told, as a place of meeting as well as a place of worship. And so the families would get together in here and thrash out their difficulties and decide who was able to fish where and such matters as that. I've checked out the pews. They're probably designed for smaller people than me, but my goodness me, they're uncomfortable. You wouldn't want to sit here for very long listening to the parson. He'd need to be quick about it, giving you his message. But looking back at the ceiling again, I've been looking at some of these quotes, and they tell you exactly what the angel is depicting on each one. And there are one or two, I've sort of known my way around my Bible a bit, and the Psalms which are mentioned at the altar end of the chapel are all Psalms of praise. And one of them specifically says that praise the Lord because he has brought his people to a place of refuge, a place where they can stay and be safe from interference. And they would be in an island like this. It's fairly remote and nobody's going to bother you here. In the winter time, I should think it's completely cut off. In the summer, boats can come and go, but there's no yachts here because there's no proper harbour. There's just a tiny, small boat harbour where we've tied up our dinghy, and I came ashore and I spoke with the fisherman who was on the dock, quite an elderly chap. I have no Swedish, and he understandably had no English. And I just sort of pointed at my little boat and said, okay here? And he said, okay. So I said, tack, which is about my only Swedish word, and I proceeded up the island, through the trees, through the rocks, and found the chapel. So here it is. Well, that's all I have to say about it, really. I'm going to play you out now, because there's a harmonium in the corner there, and I'll bet you it works. I don't know any Swedish hymns, but I'm going to play a good old Tallis canon. Here we go. Wow, look at this. I've played one of these since I was a young man. And looking at this one, it's got the same tiny little keyboard, and it's got all sorts of dust and bits of grass and stuff on the top, so it hasn't been played for a while. But we'll give it a go, give it a good old pump. These harmoniums, they're not plugged into the mains for power, a little organ, and they've got two little pedals here which I'm pedalling to work up some pressure. And here we go. See what we can do with Tallis canon.